إن الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله محمد بن عبد الله وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن اهتدى بهداه. Welcome back, viewers, to another episode of Drops of Tafseer. Today we are going to talk about something totally new, something a lot of us are not familiar of. Who are the Arabs? The Arab people, the Arab community, is divided into three categories. The first category are known as the Arabul Ba'idah. The second category is the Arabul Aribah. And the third category is the Arabul Musta'rabah. Now let's go back to the first category. Who are they? And the first category, as we've mentioned, is the Arabul Ba'idah. And do we have any information with regards to them? The most we can go and trace back to them are the Ad and the Thamud. And there are many other Arab tribes like them, nations like them. But Allah Azza wa Jal has destroyed the Ad and Thamud, so therefore we do not have any recorded historical events other than what is mentioned in the Quran. And Allah Azza wa Jal talks about them in Surah Al-Shams. Allah Azza wa Jal talks about them in Surah Al-Hud. And right now we are going to go to the second category of the Arabs, who are known as the Arabul Aribah. And these Arabs, they stem out from the Arabs that were situated in southern Yemen. And the third type of Arabs are the Arabul Musta'rabah. The Arabul Musta'rabah, in origin, in essence, they are not Arabs because they stem out from the Nabiullah Ismail, the son of Ibrahim alayhi salam, who was from the city of in ancient Babylon, Iraq, current day. So Ibrahim alayhi salam, he comes with his son to the city of Mecca, where there were no trees, no plantation, nothing. بِغَيْرِ ذِي زَرْعٍ عِنْدَ بَيْتِكَ الْمُحَرَّمِ, as he says in Surah Ibrahim. So the Ismail alayhi salam, he marries from the Arabul Aribah, from the children of Qahtan. Qahtan is a very popular figure, and he's considered the head of the Arabul Aribah. Qahtan, he had a son named Ya'rub, and Ya'rub, he was known for his name, Ya'rub. The word Arab comes from his name, Arab, Ya'rub, because he was the first person to speak in the Arabic language, as it was claimed by many historians. And from him, he had a son named Yasjub, and Yasjub had a son named Saba. A lot of us might have heard this name because there's a whole surah in the Quran that talks about that is named after this person. Now, why is he called Saba? Some of the historians, they have said that because he was the first person to speak in the Sabian language. It's an ancient language that was spoken. So Allah Azza wa Jal speaks about this kingdom of Saba, which is named after this man. Allah Azza wa Jal says in the Quran, لَقَدْ كَانَ لِسَبَإٍ فِي مَسْكَنِهِمْ آيَةٌ. And for you is a great sign of the people who lived in the kingdom of Saba. And now the kingdom of Saba is named after this individual. And this surah, this name comes up many times in the Quran. We also know that there was a queen that used to rule over this kingdom. Her name is Bilqis, the queen that was a contemporary of Sulaiman alayhi salam. So this man Saba, he had two sons. His two sons, they were named, the first son was Himyar, and the second son's name was Kahlan. So Kahlan had many children, and from the famous children of Kahlan is Azd. And this name is very important because in the very near future, from his progeny, two great tribes stemmed out, the Aus and Khazraj, or the Ansar of Medina. So Azd had many children, and from his many children, he had a son who eventually became a king. His name was Amir, and the people in his area called him Ma'us Sama. Why did they call him Ma'us Sama? Because for 7 years, they had an extreme, severe drought, and they did not have access to water. So Amr he was able to give them access to water. So therefore, they called him the water of the skies. From him, he had two children. One was Imran, the other one was Amr. And Amr became the king after Amir, his younger son. And the people, they called him Muzayqa. So his name was Amr bin Amir al-Muzayqa. What does the word Muzayqa mean? It comes from the word mazaqa, which means to rip, to tear. So every day, this person, he would wear very expensive jewelry made of gold. So he would rip it every single day. And by night he would make it, and by day he would wear it. And why would he rip it? Because he wanted no one else besides himself to wear it, and he wanted to make a point that no one was more richer than him. So during his reign, there was a female kahina, or a fortune teller, who saw a dream. In her dream, she witnessed that there was a dark cloud above Yemen. And this dark cloud came on top of their city, or the city of Ma'rib. Now, let me talk a bit about Ma'rib. Ma'rib is a city in the kingdom of Saba. Now, the Arabs back in the days, they did not have access to water. So whenever it would rain, it would dissolve into the earth, and they would not be able to utilize that water. So these Yemeni governments or kingdoms in the past, they were known for making known for making dams. So there was two mountains on the city. So they built a dam in between these two mountains. So it became like a reservoir. It carried all the rainwater from the back. And what they did was they made an opening, several openings under this dam, so they can pull out water whenever they needed. And they started to use this water to make gardens. So Kahlan, he basically made the city very popular by using that water to make very famous gardens. And these gardens were so beautiful that Allah Azza wa Jal even mentions in the Quran, لَقَدْ كَانَ لِسَبَإٍ فِي مَسْكَنِهِمْ آيَةٌ جَنَّتَانِ عَنْ يَمِينٍ وَشِمَالٍ كُلُوا مِنْ رِزْقِ رَبِّكُمْ وَاشْكُرُوا لَهُ. These gardens, imagine, you have a garden on your right, you have a garden on your left, and you have your city right in between these two gardens. So it was said that if a woman were to carry a basket on her head and place it on top of her head and walk in between these gardens, she would not have to pick the fruits by her hands. The fruits would fall by itself into the basket. That's how prosperous these people were, and it became a center of trade. People would come to them across the world and invest, buy things from them and give them good trade. So they became a very prosperous city. So that by the time Amr bin Amir al-Muzayqa became king, the city was already prosperous, very rich city. And so then Allah Azza wa Jal talks about this garden, how great it was, the greatness of this garden. So then this kahina, or this fortune teller, she witnesses this dream that a dark cloud comes upon their city, and it started to whenever the thunderbolts came out from this dark cloud, it started to destroy everything that garden had. So so then she goes to the king. The king was in his garden, and she tells him that, can I have a seat? I need to tell you something. So what is it? She says that I fear that our city is under destruction, that our city is going to be destroyed. So then she explains and interprets this dream to him, and the king of Ma'rib, Amr bin Amir al-Muzayqa, he asks this female fortune teller, what is the proof that our city is going to be destroyed? So then Amr bin Amir al-Muzayqa, he goes to, he's asking her that how is our city going to be destroyed? So she tells him that, listen, I want you to go to the dam and see if you see anything there, if you find any mice there. So then he goes to this dam and he finds a whole bunch of mice trying to dig under the Sed, or the dam that his forefathers built to preserve water. So now imagine if this dam just breaks apart, what's going to happen? Imagine you have a whole humongous tide just coming and destroying everything that is in your land, your home, your gardens, and everything. So then he tells one of his sons, Amr bin Amr al-Muzayqa, he tells his son, listen, tomorrow, son, I am going to host a big event, and tomorrow I want you to slap me in my face. So then the next day he hosted an entire party, and everybody started to come over, the elite class of his kingdom. So then he tells his son, listen, right now is the time I want you to slap me in my face. I want you to start arguing with me, and I want you to give me a slap in the face. So then he does that. His son slaps him in the face. So then he gets angry in front of all his people, and he says that, listen, I said, I'm going to sell all my property. I'm going to sell everything. So everybody that was in that majlis, or in that gathering, they said that, listen, let's take advantage of his anger and buy everything that he possesses. So they started to buy and sell his property. So Amr bin Amr al-Muzayqa sells all his property because he did not want other nations to come and take his wealth away. So he wanted his wealth to remain in Yemen among his people. So then his people began to buy and sell and be more prosperous with the wealth of Amr bin Amr al-Muzayqa. So thereafter, the people stopped selling his property, and he was kind of forced to tell them that, listen, our city is going to be destroyed. That dam is about to break forth. So then from the children of Azd, many of these tribes, they left that city. They deserted the city of Ma'rib. Some of them went to Al-Uman, the current day country that we have, Al-Uman. And some of them, they went to Bahrain. Some of them, they went to northern Syria. And from their children, they had the Ghassanid Empire, Ghassanid Empire. And some of them, they went to the city of Yathrib. And who are the residents of Yathrib? The Aus and Khazraj. So let us come back to this, these ayat, these verses. So Allah Azza wa Jalla is saying, لَقَدْ كَانَ لِسَبَإٍ فِي مَسْكَنِهِمْ آيَةٌ, that verily for you is a sign of the people of Saba, what Allah has done to them. Allah has made an example over them. لَقَدْ كَانَ لِسَبَإٍ فِي مَسْكَنِهِمْ آيَةٌ جَنَّتَانِ عَنْ يَمِينٍ وَشِمَالٍ. They lived in such a city filled with gardens on their right and left. And so much so, as I mentioned, a woman would walk with a basket on her head, and she would not be required to pull out the fruits from the tree. It would just fall right into her basket. لقد كان لسبأ في مسكنهم آية جنتان عن يمين وشمال كلوا من رزق ربكم واشكروا له. So Allah Azza wa Jal is telling these people, eat from the fruits of these gardens. كلوا من رزق ربكم واشكروا له, and be thankful to Allah Azza wa Jal. بلدة طيبة, the land that you live in is very pure. وَرَبٌّ غَفُورٌ, and your Lord is most forgiving. فَأَعْرَضُوا فَأَرْسَلْنَا عَلَيْهِمْ سَيْلَ الْعَرِمِ. So these people, they used to worship in the one Allah Azza wa Jal, and then later they fell for their shirk, and Allah Azza wa Jal has sent them messengers, and they revolted against the messengers. They denied their message. They rejected the message of these messengers. So and then Allah Azza wa Jal says, فَأَرْسَلْنَا عَلَيْهِمْ سَيْلَ الْعَرِمِ. Then we have sent them the flood of Arim. So what is Arim? Some of the Mufassirin, they have said that this is a name of a valley. Allah Azza wa Jal has broke down this dam that they have built many years ago, and Allah destroyed the city. وَبَدَّلْنَاهُمْ بِجَنَّتَيْهِمْ جَنَّتَيْنِ ذَوَاتَيْ أُكُلٍ خَمْطٍ وَأَثْلٍ وَشَيْءٍ مِّن سِدْرٍ قَلِيلٍ. That Allah Azza wa Jal replaced their gardens with only trees with thorns, and they had nothing but a bit of sidr. So what is sidr? It's a very popular tree that does not bear any fruits. ذَلِكَ جَزَيْنَاهُمْ بِمَا كَفَرُوا. This is how we destroy or reward those people, reward with destruction for those people who disbelieve, who do kufr, and they were not thankful to Allah Azza wa Jal. وَهَلْ نُجَازِي إِلَّا الْكَفُورِ. And this is the way, the only way how we treat those people who are not thankful to Allah Azza wa Jal. وجعلنا بينهم وبين القرى التي باركنا فيها قرى ظاهرة وقدرنا فيها السير سيروا فيها ليالي وأياما آمنين. In today's era, when we go for vacation or long trips, long drives, we would carry with us food and etc. because due to the far distances between the cities. As for the people of Saba, they would not have to travel because everything was at their convenience. Us, in today's time, we would have to carry food with us. These people would not have to carry any food with them because everything was available to them. So then they started to be not grateful to Allah Azza wa Jal. So these people were very ungrateful to Allah Azza wa Jal. So then they said, فَقَالُوا رَبَّنَا بَاعِدْ بَيْنَ أَسْفَارِنَا. Ya Allah, we want to travel a little more. Can you make these cities far away from us? وَظَلَمُوا أَنفُسَهُمْ. And then they started to, with their kufr, they started to oppress themselves. فَجَعَلْنَاهُمْ أَحَادِيث. So then we made a story out of them. We made them a lesson for everyone. وَمَزَّقْنَاهُمْ كُلَّ مُمَزَّقٍ. And we tore this qawm due to their ungratefulness. إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَاتٌ لِكُلِّ صَبَّارٍ شَكُورٍ. That indeed from these people are those, indeed these signs and these stories are for those people who are patient and who are thankful. And we know from the children of Azd, before the destruction of the city, they left to many different cities around the Arabian world. Some of them went to Yemen, some of them went to Oman, some of them went to Bahrain, some of them went to the city of Yathrib. And who are these dwellers of Yathrib, current day Medina al-Munawwara? They were the Ansar of Medina, the two famous tribes, Aus and Khazraj. And these people, Allah has spoken about these people in the Quran. وَالَّذِينَ لَا يَجِدُونَ فِي صُدُورِهِمْ حَاجَةً. When the Muhajirun came to them, they felt nothing in their hearts. They open-heartedly gave everything that they have for the sake of this religion. May Allah make us from those people who are thankful and save us from those people who are ungrateful.